subject. And personally, I do believe that it should be legalized. Who agrees and who disagrees? Raise your hand if you agree. Why?
Because I think if it's legalized, they'll be safer, and money is money.
I agree. That's the whole reason why I believe that it should be legal.
They gotta tell you why.
Why do you think so?
No, I agree with the safety issues. Might help them in that regard, but I don't know. It's not a subject I've thought much about.
Okay. Do you, any of you know anything about the subject?
I mean,
Vaguely.
there's other
bit.
countries that are legalizing. I don't know.
All right. Well, it's actually not legal in Nevada. Only certain areas, like certain brothels, are actually legal. But it still falls in this really strange political legal gray area where you don't know if it's legal or illegal. Same way pornography falls under that line where it's technically classified as entertainment, which it's the same exact thing. So honestly, I believe that if we do legalize this, if we find a way to make this beneficial, then it would make their lives a lot better. Those who choose to do this, who choose to go into something like sex work or the ugly word prostitution, because that word itself comes with a very heavy stigma. And through decriminalization, we may be able to eradicate that stigma and destroy that view that most people have, which is that they're poor individuals, that all these poor children, which in reality, they don't have to be that way. We make them that way. The fact that it is illegal makes it nearly impossible for these women, men, children fall into this trap, this pit of sex work and prostitution, and the fact that it is illegal makes it entirely impossible for them to come for help. Because of the fact that the whole thing itself, the act of selling sex, is illegal. It means that if they were to be victimized, they cannot go to the police because the police are obligated by the law to arrest them, the victims. How does that make sense? You're a victim of a crime, but you can't report that crime because you are participating in another crime. These Johns who carry diseases and who attack these people, they can't be criminalized. I mean, they can, but not really. You have to really fight hard to get justice because of the fact that this act is illegal. You have children and young teens who fall into something like sex trafficking because of the fact that they can just say, oh, well, the whole thing's illegal, so it doesn't really matter. But through decriminalization, think about it this way. You can set an age limit, such as with drinking, smoking. You can say, no minors allowed. And if you can say that, you can regulate it. You can say, this can't happen. This can't happen. Then these people have rights. Then they have the ability to fight for themselves. They're not victims. Not unless you make them. I mean, for example, New South Wales, Australia. They decriminalized sex work in 1995. And a recent government, admittedly, sponsored study that was done in 2012 found that there was no evidence of recent trafficking of female workers at all. in contrast to the 1990s when often the women found there were from Thailand that were transported from their home country to Australia, and many of them were found in Sydney because they didn't have a choice, they didn't have a voice. But because they decriminalized it, they can easily go to the police officer and say, I need help. But why can't we do that? Why? I mean, we have so many people who are so anti-prostitution, and I don't personally believe in it. I don't. But they're so anti that they don't see that their antiism, they're fighting this so hard. We should abolish this whole thing, just destroy it, is actually making it worse for the people who are a part of this whole circle, in a way. They're making it worse for them because the more laws you have against prostitutes, the more laws you have against people who are in sex work, makes it harder for them to say, I'm not okay. This is not okay. It makes it harder for them to actually talk about the issue, even say, I have an issue. It demonizes the women who choose to do this. It demonizes the people who don't have a choice. It demonizes their children. And I believe personally through decriminalizing this that we can eliminate those who don't have a choice. Because you would have a choice. Make it illegal to force somebody into this. Don't make it illegal to do it in general, just make it illegal to force someone. Institute regulations, institute rules, institute some sort of order. Because right now it's a sort of lawless land. Anything can happen. And that's why it's such a rampant problem. Honestly. Another instance would be New Zealand. They decriminalized in 2006. There is no evidence of sex trafficking. Same thing with New South Wales. No evidence. They can't find anything. Why? Because if you make it hard for these people who are sex trafficking to get to these girls, then their supply runs dry. Because sex trafficking and prostitution, they're two very different things. Very different. So, what do you believe?
I believe it should be legal.
You believe it should be legal? Do you think it would keep them safe?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not a perfect system. Not by any means. But it's a definite start to protecting people.
I agree.
You agree? Thank you.